Now this is the sad future of our off-road industry. Hey, what's up guys? Rado here. I'm here with Gene. We are at AEO Powersport and we're going to talk about the future of off-road industry. Gene here, she's professional. She is a journalist and I want to have her here so we can have a balanced viewpoint on this issue. So can you tell us a little more about you?
Hi, I'm Jean Turner. I'm a longtime journalist in the motorcycle industry. I've worked for Cycle News and several other publications. Throughout my career, I've covered a lot of legal issues in the motorcycle industry, and this whole sundowning of the red sticker program in California has really thrown a wrench in the program, especially for the off-road crowd.
Right.
And really just trying to help get the information out there. Absolutely understand the frustration that a lot of people are having, but I think it's really important to also take a step back, take a little pragmatic approach to this, understand what's happening, how we got here, and what we can do about it so that we can move forward in the best constructive way.
Right. So I'm upset about the situation. Jean here, she might have some solution, or at least there's something that we can do for the future. Like there's many of us that we are just now upset about the situation and it's too late because the decision was made in 2017, 2018, right? So,
pretty much, yeah.
So right now there's nothing to do about it, just complain about it. But there's something that will happen in the future. So I want you guys to be ready and to be proactive. So stay till the end of the video. We're going to talk about some important points that we can do as an off-road community to help prolong our off-road fun that we have now.
Rights and help preserve our sport.
Right. Okay, so guys, I did a video and I had like 80,000 views and 1,600 comments. A lot of people commented on the video, and after that video I watched your video.
Yes.
And I saw that you actually know a lot more than I do about the thing, and you've been involved in this for how many years now?
Been involved with this issue since 2017. That's when it first came on my radar, because that was when the California Air Resources Board, also known as CARB, decided to sundown the red sticker program.
Right.
The red sticker program's been in place since 1998, and what that did was allow, there was compliant bikes, which were the green sticker bikes, and the non-compliant bikes, which were the competition bikes, and those got red stickers. And CARB expected that only racers would buy the red sticker bikes and everyone else would buy green sticker bikes. It's not exactly how it went down.
Right.
So that was supposed to be a temporary program back in 1998. 2 decades later, they took a look at the situation again and realized pretty much everyone's riding red sticker bikes, and that the entire intended purpose of the green sticker program was not being used correctly in their view. So they just said, all right, forget it. We're just doing away with this whole thing.
Right.
So that happened. That proposal came out in 2017. In 2018, they had a lot of hearings. There was a public workshop. There was a competition workshop. All these meetings that happened at the California Air Resources Board.
Yeah. So can you tell us? We talked before the interview, so I know a little bit more than you guys now. There was a lot of companies and manufacturers involved in this pushback, right?
Yes.
It wasn't just okay. Well, we don't care, and let's see what happens. Because some people think that it just happened yesterday. No, it didn't happen yesterday. It was going on for the years, and there was a pushback from the industry. All the people who are big players actually were involved. And Jean, you also joined some of those meetings, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's one of the misconceptions that I want to address a lot, because people are saying, why didn't we push back? Why aren't we pushing back at this? Why are we just accepting this? And this issue goes back, the policy was formed in 2018. It was passed into law in April 2019. So once it's passed into law, it's kind of, the fight's over. People are wondering, why aren't we fighting this? We did. We fought this 3 years ago and did the best that we could. And at those meetings, every single one of the manufacturers was there. Kawasaki, Yamaha, Honda, KTM, the entire Austria group, FMF, everyone was there. And I promise you, there was a tremendous amount of pushback at these meetings. There's some links down below that articles that I wrote back in 2017, 2018 that kind of describe what went down at those meetings. But it's a sensitive issue because it's also, it's very sensitive legal issues for the manufacturers. There's
Right.
a lot of liability involved. So they didn't come out publicly and they didn't want to be quoted on stuff like this. So anyway, that might have been why you hadn't heard more about it at the time, but there was a very good amount of pushback.
Okay, so they did a lot, and of course our manufacturers don't like it, because check those bikes behind me, half of those bikes cannot be legally ridden in California anymore. These are all 2022 bikes, unless you are street legal. So you can imagine, there is a huge market here in California. This is a part of the Californians, a lot of families growing together, riding off-road, right? Like, Gene, you are in this industry for way longer than me, but I'm happy to bring my kids and we ride together now, and I look forward to enjoy this together. So it is a kind of a big deal for us here. All right, so let's talk about what is the situation right now. What's happening with all the 2022 bikes at this moment?
So what's happening now, the 2022 bikes that are on the sales floors, a lot of them you'll see they have red hang tags that say closed course only. So yeah, you can't take these on, you cannot take the non-compliant bikes, and that's anything that would be red sticker. You can't take those on public lands anymore. And there was actually legislation that was in place that was trying to figure out a way to get a registration sticker for competition bikes, and that was SB 227. And unfortunately, that legislation just hit the floor. It is not going to go any further.
Right.
So that's kind of a fail there. So, but right now, when you buy a non-compliant 2022 motorcycle, you can't get any form of registration sticker for it, which is kind of a problem.
Yeah, well, we should say that the non-compliant bikes are 95% of the bikes. Is that a good assumption? Maybe 97?
I might actually say maybe 70%.
70%, oh, okay.
Because we also, don't forget the dual sports. Nothing changes if you have a dual sport,
right.
So don't worry about that.
Yeah. So if you're street legal, you're good to go for now.
Yeah.
But if you're not street legal, everything brand new you are buying, it has to have either green sticker or it has no stickers. And everything that has no sticker, like I was talking in my last video, so all the bikes that are pretty much off-road race bikes, XC, FX, and every single two-stroke. In California, you cannot ride two-stroke 2022 and newer on a public land. That's pretty much dead, right?
I kind of hate to say it, but I feel like that's the part of the industry that's going to be hit the hardest by this. I think it's the 302-stroke crowd, because anything with the four-stroke bikes, and especially the motocross bikes, those are designed to be ridden on a track, and that's where most people ride them. The 302 strokes, you ride those
right.
deep in the woods. So, yeah, I think this kind of spells bad news for that sector.
Yeah. I had little hope when KTM came with TPI, and I did videos 2018, 2019 about this issue. So when KTM came out with TPI, I was hoping that, hey, that would be clean enough for California to put a green sticker on that thing, but that didn't happen, and it's looking like it will never happen. So it's sad as it sounds. That's one really sad news we have to come up with today. It's that two-strokes are over in California. If you want to ride a two-stroke, get something older and keep it. Don't sell it. They're gonna go up on the price and the value. And let's be honest, those bikes are amazing for off-road riding. All right, so we touched that. Now, what are the green stickers that you know? I know about some Hondas, but not our bikes, only the F bikes, right? Which are the green stickers that you know?
The green sticker bikes that I know, gosh, I don't know all of them offhand. I know that KTM actually has some. It's I don't want to misquote it. It's the XCFW, I believe, the 350 and 500.
But isn't that street legal?
That would be the EXE.
But then XCFW, I don't think it's selling in USA. It's only back in Europe.
I think it's being sold here. I'd have to go back and double check all this.
Okay.
There's also the Kawasaki, the KLX 230, KLX 300, and that 300. Don't overlook that bike. It's not KX based, so it's not going to be like super competitive. But that is a fantastic little bike.
Yeah.
And there are some green sticker models out there. There's not a lot.
But we can safely say that all these fast bikes that we little bit faster guys. I'm not that fast, but I'm fast enough to ride an off-road bike that is made for racing. All those bikes are out of picture. So the only thing you can ride now would be all the F bikes that are pretty much air cooled. Some of them might be liquid cooled, but those are kind of like a beginner's bike. Some people don't like to call it that, but that's what they are.
Trail bikes.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of the technology that used to be your dad's bike, and I think that's how people are looking at it now. But I think that sector has been largely ignored just because they don't sell.
Right.
But I think now that there's going to be a demand for it, I think that it's going to evolve in that direction. And I know that, right now we look at the compliant bikes, the green sticker bikes, these trail bikes as being slower and heavier and all this. But, let's take a look back at some of the technology through history. I mean, in the early 80s, we thought that liquid cooling was too heavy and clunky to be on a competition bike, and here we are.
Right.
Just 15 years ago, we thought electric start was that's a dad bike type thing. That's too heavy to be on a motocross bike, and here we are. So I have faith that the industry is going to catch up. I just think that we might be in for a rough couple of years where it's going to take some time to close that gap.
And that's exactly why I brought Jean here, because she has all this optimism and faith for the future. So it's good. It's good to have that viewpoint. Okay, so hopefully manufacturers will look at the situation and will decide that California is big enough market, and who knows, maybe this will move to different states as well, right? And US is a huge market for off-road. So if the other states they follow California, so maybe the manufacturers they will come together and they will bring a little bit faster bikes, not only those air-cooled, but a little bit faster that are still compliant. Like we used to have a lot of green stickers back in the days, like WR450 used to be green sticker, the 450X used to be green sticker, and I think 250 or 450 is still green sticker from Honda.
I'd have to check.
Yeah, there are a couple bikes that are still green sticker, but hopefully KTM and other European brands and also Japanese guys will come up with more bikes in the future that will be compliant and will get green sticker here in California.
I mean, I think if there's a demand for it, they'll build it. I mean, there's some really brilliant minds at work, and I think that we'll get there. I think that there might be a cost that comes with it because it also costs the manufacturers a lot to go through the homologation process. So, but yeah, as you were saying, I think that it's, to look at just, I don't live in California, so this isn't my problem. Well, there is going to be somewhat of a trickle-down effect because the manufacturers also don't want to create a separate spec for one state and then a 49-state model to go with it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, what they do and how they deal with this.
Okay, so we established the basics here that 2022 and newer are having this sign hanging on them saying that for private land only. That means either private club or a motocross track, right? Or your backyard. Now, difference between the BLM land, which is federal land, and the state land. What do you think there's a difference? I had a lot of you guys commented that, hey, I can still ride BLM land. So what is the law there, and what do you think will happen there on the BLM land?
Well, before we get to that one, I also want to address the closed course versus private property. Those are actually two different categories. Closed course could refer to BLM land that has a permit for a race. Once the club applies for a permit to have a race in that area, it becomes closed course. So it's not private property, but there still is going to be opportunities to ride out there.
Okay, but that's usually for the event, right? You cannot have the closed course for like entire year, right?
No, not for an entire year, but they could potentially, part of what they would like to try to do is do closed course for competition practice, things like that. So, but anyway, splitting hairs on that one.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was your question? Oh, BLM versus...
Yes. BLM versus state land.
So BLM versus state land, BLM is federally run, and people were saying that, it depends on what federally they're going to do, because that could be something different. Generally speaking, the BLM is going to do whatever it is that California does. Not federally, but the BLM lands in California, they'll pretty much respect the laws that California puts out there. So, but the difference that is going to appear there is more a matter of enforcement, because in some of the SVRAs, such as Gorman or El Mirage or areas like this, they're much more enclosed. They have a lot more staff. They have rangers populating the area. Some of the BLM lands are these giant swaths of tens of thousands of acres of desert, and you might have one ranger out there. So enforcement's going to look a lot different there. But that's also what kind of scares me, because when they're sort of taking the leash off without having any form of registration. So, I mean, what happens when you make it impossible for someone to go ride legally? They're going to go ride illegally. Yeah. So, I mean, I kind of worry that we're going to run into an unsavory situation Sorry, I'm trying not to say shitstorm.
Yeah, in the bad situations. There's something a little bit different, but I don't like. Sometimes there is the dirt bikers and the dirt bikes. They have a bad name because you guys saw those videos from New York and in Pennsylvania. All these guys riding with no helmets, wheeling down the streets, and kicking police cars and whatnot. And I think maybe some people would take that as a majority of a dirt bike community, but we are so different. Like, I don't know, especially here in California, very decent people, all who ride dirt bikes. They're families riding together. It's not just some hooligans running from a law. Like it's so different. So there is, I think, a big misconceptions in many people's mind about the dirt biking and everything in the general. And I hope it will not become even worse when they close it down. Then we will be chased down by rangers, whatnot. I don't know. So that's one thing I don't want to do, is to keep running away. Like where I go ride, I know the ranger by name. He knows me by name. So when he stops me, he's like, "Hey, how is it going? Hey, Steven, what's going on?" So it's there. It's happening.
You just said a mouthful there. We don't want to keep running. And the thing is, especially with the BLM rangers, they don't want to chase us either.
Yeah.
That's not their top priority. They don't care. But they don't want to have to enforce it. And this just, I don't know. I think it's really a shame because SB 227 had really wide support. They had support from the whole Cal Park system, from CHP, from the DMV. Everyone seemed to be on the same page about this, that some registration is better than none. But it got scrapped, so here we are.
Now we have to say one thing about SB 227. They were supposed to give us a sticker for the non-compliant bikes, but that sticker didn't give you or wouldn't give you the permit to ride on the public land. What it would give you is the registration for your bike, so then you can go ahead and you can finance the bike, and the bank can put a lien on the title. Because right now there is nothing. You buy the bike, you don't get a title, so the bank cannot finance it, or with a difficulty because they cannot put lien on it, right?
Well, all the manufacturers at this point have figured out a way around that problem because, especially when it comes time to taking your money, they'll figure it out.
Right.
So I think that you do still get a certificate of origin. So it's the same.
You can put lien on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I think it's like the same type of thing you would get with a generator or an outboard motor or something like that. So they have found ways around it, but it's just difficult because you're not in the system. Like, say anything gets stolen, you can't track it through, CHP can't track it. Also, if you want to cross the border into Mexico, the federales want to see, your registration.
You go. That's a big thing. Baja 1000, that's a huge thing here.
Yeah, like try explaining that to the federales. Like, I don't know how that's going to work either.
Yeah. And then, the SB 227 was like a first step. We wanted to put the foot in the door, and it's like, hey, there is a sticker, right? So with that sticker, maybe in the future we would be able to get some exemptions, right? But at this point, the sticker is not happening, and we don't know what would happen in the future. Is there anything going on right now?
Well, this is very, very recent that unfortunately SB 227 was scrapped by a subcommittee. It was appropriations, and the chair decided to, it basically was crucified on the altar of bipartisanship. That's all I can tell you about that. So right now they're kind of doing a postmortem. The lobbyists and lawmakers that were behind the SB 227, they also had legislation that failed in 2020 that had timed out during the legislative session. So that was a big disappointment. This is another big disappointment. I don't know if they're going to try a third time. I asked. They don't have an answer to that right now. They kind of have their hands in the air. Everyone is shocked that this got scrapped the way that it did. They also might try a different route of reaching out directly to the governor's office by way of Cal Parks, I believe, because Cal Parks is on the side of getting registration or some type of permit for these bikes. So not all hope is lost. They don't quite know next steps at this point, but as soon as we do, we will be sure to let you know.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing, guys, I want to talk about is that there actually is something we can do. Not a lot we can do for this, what's happening today, but there will be something happening in the future. And there are different organizations, there are different people that are actually lobbying for us, for the community, and they're trying to save the sport, right? So I think we should become more proactive rather than what?
Reactive.
That's what we're doing now.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And this is one of those situations that, maybe we needed to be pushed too far because, this is a big problem that we have anytime we're trying to get support or trying to sound the alarm of, hey guys, this is coming, we need to do something about it, and everyone's But this is an example of what could happen. And there, like you said, there's organizations out there that their sole purpose to exist is to fight fights like this, to keep their eye on legal issues, whether or not it's emissions or land use or any other legal issues. And this is organizations like the AMA, like the California Off-Road Vehicle Association, the Blue Ribbon Coalition, Quiet Warrior.
We'll put links below in the description.
Yes,
and
definitely.
You can follow their work. You can read their articles and their press releases, but you can also donate. There are some people that are lobbying for us in Sacramento, right?
Yes.
And if you guys want to chip in, like, you can chip in, and those people will have more resources to do their work. So we're gonna put something below in the comments.
Yes, absolutely. We'll put some links down below. And I mean, this is how we give these guys the middle finger. It takes lawyers, it takes money, and without lawyers, we don't have any teeth. So that's how these things are fought. I know, I've seen comments, people like, let's grab the pitchforks, let's march.
Yeah,
we need lawyers. That's what
it's too late for that. Yeah,
that's how these things are fought. And so I think it's important to listen to the leaders in these lobbying and in these fights, that they will let us know when it's time to fight, how it's time to fight, and what they need from you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want to make this political. There was a lot of political comments on my previous video, so I would just say that when there is a time to vote, then just vote responsibly, and pray for the best. That's what I would say. And help those people who are out there fighting for us, help them to have a little more strength. Because that's how things are done. As Gene said, like, we cannot do anything when we go yelling or throwing rocks. It's too late. Like, when they're still in making, when they are talking, then we need to be loud and we need to say our opinion. Now, Gene, there is one more thing that I wanted to say, and this will be like the saddest news for this video. And there is this executive order, right, that was signed by Governor Newsom, that should come to completion by 2035. And what exactly is the executive order? Should we be scared, or what is that?
I hear a lot of people mentioning this, and here I am again being the hopeless optimist. But this, to me, isn't raising alarms at this point, because an executive order, just by nature, it's a little bit of a wish list. It's not legislation. It's not policy. It's more a directive from the governor that this is what he would like to see at that point in time. So we keep an eye on that. And again, this is where these organizations that fight these battles, they keep an eye on stuff like this. And if something starts to move, if CARB starts picking this up and forming a policy in that direction, then it's time to fight.
Yeah.
But at this point, I don't know, it's not hugely alarming to me. That said, we were just talking about being proactive rather than reactive.
Right.
So if people want to get upset and keep their eye on this issue, absolutely. Let's not be blindsided again.
Yeah. I'm gonna put the link to that executive order below, and what it says for our off-road community is pretty much this: by 2035, there should be all the off-road vehicles should be zero emission, not only sold but also used. That means that if you have older bike that was okay by then to use it on a public land, by 2035, if everything goes according to that proposed wish list that Gene said, it will happen that you will not be able to ride a combustion engine on the public land. So that will pretty much be the end of dirt biking as we know it. Even the street legal, nothing would be allowed, only the electric bikes. And it's 2035. You might think, oh yeah, that's far away. My daughter will be 17. That's not that far away. I want to enjoy this off-road riding and off-road lifestyle with my daughter when she's teenager. I don't want to be thinking that it's too far. That's what we thought back in 2000. Yeah, it's too far. No, now it's 2021, and we are facing this reality of not being able to buy a bike and ride it. So stay vigilant and check all the news and see what's going on, and if there will be something coming, and be loud when there is time to be loud and help. What else can we do?
I think you hit it on the head. I mean, we just need to stay vigilant, keep your finger on the pulse. It doesn't mean you need to scour every news story, but just, subscribe, donate, these organizations will send out newsletters, but they'll let you know the title, the subject line will say like red alert, time for action.
Yeah.
So watch for things like that.
And don't forget to subscribe to Cross Rutted channel, because Ginny will bring you the best information. She is right there in that industry getting good information. Stay subscribed to my channel. I will also do my best to bring you the information with a little bit of my own opinion on the top of it, and just see what happens. Definitely, this is not a fun video to do. It's a sad situation, but unfortunately, there is nothing we can do about the situation today. Let's just hope that there will be something a little different. Maybe, I don't know, if there is a hope, like next year something will change. I don't know. You guys know how it goes. And anyway, just stay riding, stay safe. What else can we say?
I think you said it all. Thanks very much for having me. I have a couple of videos on this topic on my channel as well that include some frequently asked questions, some common misconceptions. So take a look, and if you have any questions, drop us a line in the comments and we'll do our best to answer it.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Jean.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
And you guys don't forget, whatever you do, stay motivated. See you later.